Hello, hello, hello. Here to me, I'm back again. It is time to work on some more of Noah's map. Let me just get my stream sorted. Well, it's mostly sorted. I'm just gonna get the right tabs up. There we go. That is a good cup of tea. Okay, so it's been a little while since I streamed my mapping. And quite a lot has changed. Quite a lot indeed, from my ideas to what it looks like now. So this is what I have so far. We still got those stairs going up, but now we've got all of this shit as well. This water going into the pipes. And then in here is a little cave section where we go up and up and up. This is like the tower section of the map, but it's a cave instead of a tower, but it's still climbing up, so it's technically a tower. So yeah, we've got this bit I'm gonna have so you have to crouch through here. So it's gonna be pretty claustrophobic and scary. But because the zombies are going to be all Goombas, so they're tiny, I can get away with making something like this, because usually you can't have zombies crouching or crawling through bits of the map unless you animate them yourself, which obviously I do not have time to do for this map. So yeah, I can get away with that as the Goombas are tiny. So they'll just be able to walk normally through there. And in this part, obviously none of this is properly textured yet. Obviously. Same with the cliffs and all that. Here we would walk through here onto this pipe, which will lead into the sewers, but we won't actually be able to go through here. I was originally going to have the player be able to go through here, and you've got like this thing here, but since yesterday I changed my idea. Now the sewer is going to be off limits, and we're instead going to be going over this way, where here there will be a little bottle with whatever liquid. I think I'm going to put wee liquid in here. That's going to fill up. Then basically we're going to have like a parkour section going from here to over here somewhere. We're going to activate a button over here, which will then pour loads of wee stuff down here into the bottle. Then when the bottle fills up, it's going to take off like a rocket, and if we shoot the bottle and explode it, all the water will turn into wee water, which will fill up less quickly than the regular clean water. So yes, it's kind of a stupid map. It's a stupid rage map that makes no sense, but I think it would be kind of funny. I think adding a bit of humor to the map will maybe give it a bit more, make the score a bit better. Thank you for the follow, Murdoch5. I'm not accepting friend requests, I'm afraid, on Discord. I apologize for that, but you are of course welcome to join my server and chat with me there. That I would not mind at all. So as for my other ideas for the map, I'm basically reworking all of this. So we're still going to have the phases, but my idea before was going to be to have in the top right the phase number we're on, but now phases aren't going to be like a big thing on the map. They're just going to be areas, basically, just to mark what area you're in. So that's kind of staying the same, but Phase 1 in general is staying the same. It's going to have the water fill in. Phase 2, exactly the same as well. Phase 3 is going to be the same too. It's going to be advanced parkour right after the pipe here. We're going to have some parkour. Maybe not so much advanced parkour, just parkour. So let's change that to just parkour. Then we need to press button at end of parkour, which releases wee water and fills bottle. Bottle takes off like rocket when filled. If player destroys bottle before it disappears, water turns into wee water, which takes half the time to rise. So that's the reason why you'd want to turn it into wee water, because the wee water takes less time to rise. Because basically, this wasn't necessarily my original idea, but it's an idea I've had for about a week now, which is the water will just keep rising even past the phase 1 and phase 2 areas. It's just going to keep going up and up and up, and there's going to be buttons around the map where we can drain the water. So having it so the water takes half the time to rise is very good and worth it. Okay. Then, where Rocket once was is a jump pad. Now this jump pad, I haven't quite decided yet whether that's going to take us right back up to where the pipe is or up to the next phase, because the jump pad could be used as a shortcut, so you don't have to go through the whole cave section. Instead of it taking you to the next area, there could be something else that takes you to the next area instead. But I haven't decided yet what that will be. Where could that be? It could be somewhere, that's for sure. Where would we have that? I think, yeah, the jump pad. I think the jump pad we would want to take you up to the pipe instead, because it wouldn't make much sense having to go all the way down here to go up to the next phase all the way up here. But I'm just thinking where we would have the next phase. Maybe the jump pad would be next to the button, or maybe the button would actually create another new jump pad. I think we'll say that for now. Pressing button. Pressing button. Hang on, full stop please. Is a jump pad that leads back to the pipe. Another jump pad appears after pressing button, which takes player to next phase, where phase 4, this section at the moment I think I'm gonna scrap unless I have time to do it. Out of all of these phases so far, this is the one that is gonna take a while to do, just because the functionality of the zombies and also animations of the toads, that's going to take quite a while. And because I only have like 17-18 days left, there are things that I'm gonna have to scrap, probably. So for now, I'm gonna scrap this one. Also, we're gonna create a phase 3A plus B, where these are optional routes after pipe. Left takes you to perk, to unlock perk location button, and right takes you to unlock perk slot button. Which I will explain what these perk location things are shortly, because that is the thing we're going to be working on today. So yeah, that's phase 3A and B. Phase 4, that is going to be scrapped as well. Instead, these two phases are just going to be merged together. And we're not going to call it Nowhere to Run, it would instead be like, just, like square, kind of like octagonal ascension kind of style, I guess. Octagonal, if I could spell octagonal, I think it's like that. Octagonal ascension style area. Goombas keep switching direction to confuse player, which will be done through invisible walls that the player can walk through, but the Goombas can't, which would basically mean Goombas won't necessarily always follow the player using the closest route to the player. They'll instead be going all over the place, which I think would be really cool and unique. Phase 5 is still going to be some vertical parkour, or we could just call it another parkour section. I don't know necessarily if it's going to be vertical or not yet, but we are likely going to have another parkour section after this. And in phase 6 is going to be a boss battle, but it's not going to be with Bowser Jr. It's instead going to be with a big Goomba, because that just makes more sense. And then finally, phase 7, this whole thing is going to be scrapped. We're not going to go through the map again a second time anymore. Phase 7 is going to be after boss completed, after boss battle completed, water turns into poo water, as well as poo water above player. Poo water slowly moves down until it gets to the ground level. If player touches poo water, they instantly die. When player presses button on ground, the game ends. Or they'll press the button on the ground, all the poo water goes away, and then the last thing they have to do is do a buyable ending. I haven't decided between those yet whether we're just going to make the button end the game right there, or whether we're going to make the player save up for the buyable ending first. But whichever method we do, they'll both take about the same amount of time anyway, so it's not a problem either way. So this is basically going to be what we've got now, what my idea is currently, unless it changes, which it has done for the last week. But I think all of this I should easily be able to do within the time limit that I have now. And my perk system also did change a bit. For a start, all perks except Ultra Revive are going to spawn in like this. This is a soul box. So you have to fill out all of the perks with souls, like you have had to do in most of my maps. But when it unlocks, it won't necessarily be a perk. It could be this, which is a perk location that just doesn't have a perk there at the moment. The thing is though, it won't necessarily always be like that all game, because every 5 minutes, every single perk on the map except Ultra Revive is going to shuffle location. So all of the perks that are actually perks will shuffle as well as all of these. So if there was one of these, it could turn into a perk, it could still be one of those. So yeah, basically they're going to keep shuffling every 5 minutes, which just adds to the rage factor. Imagine you're like, I'm going to go buy Jack, and then suddenly it shuffles and it becomes this. Like, oh my god, that's so savage. Or it becomes Deadshot or something. And another thing I'm going to have is a slot machine up here as well, a massive slot machine. But we don't need to talk about that yet, because we're not working on that right now. That's probably going to be the thing we work on next though, after we've set up these perks. So the first thing we're going to do is sort out Ultra Revive, because Ultra Revive is going to be the unique perk of the bunch, where it doesn't require souls to unlock it, but there's going to be about 4 different Ultra Revive machines all down at the bottom here, and only one of them is real. In order to actually find out which the real one is, you would have to buy each one until it tells you that that's the real one. Which again is just going to add to the rage and like bruhness of the map, which is the intention. And of course, it's going to be shuffled every game, so the real Ultra Revive isn't necessarily going to be in the same place every single game, because that's going to be too easy otherwise. So we're going to call Ultra Revive something different. We'll instead call it Model Ultra Revive. All of the Ultra Revives are going to have the same model name, because their model isn't ever going to change in-game. The triggers though, they'll have to have different names, because only one of these triggers will actually work. And we have to know, based on the target name, which one that is. So we'll call this trigger Ultra Revive 0. And then 1, 2, 3, etc. I think we're probably going to have about 4 locations. So we're going to code this first. And Ultra Revive usually costs 3,000 in my maps. I think I'm going to keep it the same as that. But I'm not so mean that I'm going to charge a player 3,000 if they buy the fake Ultra Revive. Instead, I'll charge them half of that. Ooh, or should I be really mean and charge them the full amount? You know what, I think to start with I will charge them the full amount, because I am feeling kind of mean today. I think this water, we're going to move down a bit as well. I don't think we're going to have it this high to begin with. We just want it visible to begin with. Maybe a little bit lower than that. Like maybe minus 140? No, that's non-existent now. Minus 130. That's not 130, that's 1,300. That's probably a little bit too little. Yeah, actually no, I think we'll go with that. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. So we need to do all the locations for this then. So all of these Ultra Revive machines are going to be on ground level here. So we'll probably put one against the stairs here. So let's rotate this. Wait, did we set up collision for these? No, we didn't. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. We can do the collision ourselves. Let's just make sure it is not clipping. I think that's about right. Yeah, that looks good. It's not clipping or anything. I think maybe we can move it back a little bit more though. How's that? Yeah, that's not clipping. Good, good. So that is that then. Let's go ahead and copy this brush so we can use it as a collider. Oh, you know what? I just realized my music hasn't been on the whole time. I mean, I've been hearing it, but you couldn't hear it on stream because I had it muted. I do have a habit of doing it. So we're just gonna tilt this down a bit so we actually slide off the machine if a player decides to land on it. Otherwise, the enemies won't be able to get us, will they? And we're gonna make it slick, of course, so they do actually slide. Let's just make this trigger about the same size as the collider. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit off though. Oh, hello, Struck, hello. Thank you so much. I don't really want to make a rage map that much, but I kind of have to for the contest. Although I think this map is going to be fun as well as ragey. So I don't want to do just pure rage. That would be silly. Well, a challenge map can be a rage map because, like, raging could just mean that the map's hard or something. Like, anything that makes you rage. Whether it's hard, whether it's got loads of troll stuff in it. So there probably will be a lot of variety maps, but I imagine a lot of people will just make troll maps, most likely, and I'm just doing a mixture, challengey and trolly. Because I'm hoping if I do like a whole bunch of different things, maybe it will get more points that way. But we will see. We shall see indeed. Is that clipping at all? No, that's looking good, although I think I should lift it up a little bit more. Yeah, like that. There is, yeah, but it's not much of an inside area. It's literally just this cave, which is like a tower. Because you go up like that, and up like that, and then this part would be very claustrophobic, because this part you could only get through by crouching through. Because in this map, the zombies are just little Goombas, so I can get away with this. Because the Goombas can literally just walk straight through here. They don't need any extra animations for crouching or anything, or crawling. But that's probably going to be the only inside area of the map. I was going to have a sewer section, but I'm going to scrap that because I don't really have time And I thought of some other ideas anyway. That is a pretty cool idea, actually. I might add something like that, if I get time, but also the water in this map is going to keep rising, like, constantly. So you've got to avoid that, but there'll be buttons around the map to drain it as well. So maybe having the rain would be too much at the same time. I'm not sure. Yes, I thought the water slides was a nice touch, that's for sure. I thought it was... I haven't properly done the lighting yet. I mean, I think this lighting is decent, but it's definitely not completely done yet. Yeah, I could definitely use something like that in my maps sometime. If I am feeling very mean, of course. Now I am just adding the troll ultra revive machines. I didn't mean to do that. I want to call that number 1. And then I think we'll add 2 more maybe. Maybe one all the way at the back over here in the middle. So let's flip it like that. And bring it that way a little bit more. What are we on? No, I don't really want to be on 0.5. I want to be on 1. So I put it right at the back here. I think I'm gonna have like a bridge or something that allows players to cross from here to here. I mean, they can just walk through the water, but they might get scared. There we go, that should be fine. This can be trigger 2. Not 22, we're not gonna have that many fucking fake ultra revives. Fucking hell, that would be way too mean. Then maybe one more here or something? I'd put one around here, but I don't... No, there definitely wouldn't be enough space for that. And I think 4 is enough, to be honest, anyway. Although we do already have... Well, that one's in the middle, technically. Yeah, I think we'll still put it over here, to be honest. I think we will. That looks about right. Gonna pick that up a bit, and I think we'll tilt the machine a little bit as well, so it's actually relatively level. It's got to go this way a bit more, backwards and to the left. Maybe a little bit more backwards, in fact. Yeah. I think that's good. Just lift it up a bit more. That is good. And the trigger will just lift up a little bit more as well. Okay. So that's all the Ultra Revive machine. Oh yeah, I need to change this to number 3. So that's all the Ultra Revive machines placed, and now let's set up the code to make it so only one of these machines will actually give you the perk. And the other 3 will be trolls. So in the perk manager script, let's see. We'll do this after reset perk locations, I guess. We'll say function select true ultra revive, and then we need to get the. In fact, we don't even need the these to be script models really, because we're not actually going to be doing anything with them in the code. Well, that's fine. We'll just change it back to a normal model later if we want to. But what we do need is the triggers, of course. So we'll create an array called Ultra Revive triggers, which will just be empty to start with. Then we're going to have a for loop, which loops through all of the different Ultra Revive machines, which there are 4, going from index 0 to 3. So we would put 4 here. So this will loop through 0, 1, 2, and 3. Then we need to actually get the trigger, so I guess we could just call it trigger equals get int trigger ultra revive underscore plus whatever I is, so 0 to 3, target name, and then before this actually, in fact we probably don't, yeah, we don't even need that really. What we do need before this though is to actually decide which Ultra Revive we want to use for this game. And also before I forget, let's put this up here, select true Ultra Revive. We need to decide here what Ultra Revive is going to be the true one this game. So we're going to put true index equals a random int range between 0 and 4. We always have to put whatever number we actually want to be the max plus an extra 1. I don't know why exactly it does this, but pretty much all code and programming languages have it, so you have to put +1 with the max value, or the max parameter, which is very strange. So that's going to choose a random number between 0 and 3. So now we know what our true Ultra Revive index is going to be. So what we can do is create a new function where we'll say what should we call it? This is going to be for like the trigger for each Ultra Revive machine. So I guess we could just call it Ultra Revive think, maybe? And we'll put in a boolean as the parameter, which will be is true Ultra Revive, which will tell us whether this is the actual Ultra Revive or whether it's a fake one. Now, what we would do is we want to execute that function on each of these triggers. So we will say trigger thread Ultra Revive index, no, sorry, Ultra Revive think, and then for the boolean, it's based on this, whether this is equal to I or not. That would determine whether it's true or false. So we'll put this in an if statement where we'll say if I equals true index, then the boolean needs to be true, and else we're gonna put this up here, and this would mean it's true. then if I doesn't equal true index, it's false. So now we've got all of the triggers for the ultra revive machines. We've decided which ultra revive machine is going to be the true one this game, and now we're executing this function on each of the triggers with the parameter telling us whether this is going to be the true ultra revive machine or not. What we're going to need here is a self end on disconnect, not disconnect, sorry, on def. Self in this case is the trigger, because we're doing the trigger before the thread here. So we're executing this function on each trigger. So let's put a comment here saying self equals trigger. That's basically going to end the function if this trigger ever gets deleted. I don't think it is ever going to, but if it does, and this function still runs, then it's going to cause an error. So that's why we do that. We're going to want this in an infinite while loop, so we just put while true. But before this, we want to set the hint string for the trigger. So we'll say trigger set hint string, and we're actually just going to copy this basically, because this is exactly what we want, just with some adjustments. So per cost would be 0 because our ultra revive index is index 0 in each of these. So we've got that. Uses remaining. Again, oh, that's fine already. Ultra revive uses remaining, because ultra revive will only have like 3 uses until it's no longer available, but that depends on how many players are in the game. So let's change the rest of these to 0. Whoa, why did I do that? There we are. Now, another thing we need though is to set this hint string to ultra revive is no longer available or whatever after we've used all of the uses. And we need to do that for all of the ultra revive machines. So we're going to actually have to put that in a separate function, because putting it in this function won't be enough, because this is going to only execute when that particular trigger is activated. But we can activate any of the ultra revive triggers, so that's why we're going to have to put it in a separate function. So we'll say ultra revive trigger manage hint string, where again self is going to be the trigger. So we can just activate this here, self thread ultra revive trigger manage hint string, and we can actually say here if level dot ultra revive uses remaining is greater than 0, we're going to want to set, we can actually get rid of this now and put it down here. We're going to want to set the trigger, so self, set hint string to all of this, else, I should already have one here, yep. Let's replace that trigger with self. This we're going to want in a while loop though, a infinite loop. So we'll say while true, but of course at the moment that is literally just going to keep looping over and over and over and over and over, which we don't want. We only want this to execute when we actually need it to. So we're going to put down here just a short wait, just so it doesn't crash or anything, and then we'll say level waits till change ultra revive hint strings. So when this event is notified, all of the ultra revive hint strings will change, and the only time we want this to actually change is when we buy ultra revive, because the uses remaining will go down or it will no longer be available. So basically every time Ultra Revive users remaining is decreased, which is right here, that's when we're going to want to notify change Ultra Revive hint strings. Like so. Okie dokie. So that's that for that. Now we basically just need to make it so we've got the functionality for actually interacting with the trigger. So we're going to say self wait till trigger player, which means we're going to wait in this while infinite loop until the player until any player interacts with the trigger. Then we're going to say if is true Ultra Revive. Just so it's clearer, we'll say if is true Ultra Revive is true, which means it is the true Ultra Revive, or else it's not the true Ultra Revive. We would want to do something. Where do we take off? Oh, we take off the score here. Okay. I see, because we're going to have to change this a bit, because at the moment the score is being taken off whilst also given the perk. But we don't want to do that in this case. If it's a fake Ultra Revive, we're going to want to take off the score, but we're not going to want to give the perk. So we don't actually want to do any of this function if it's not the true Ultra Revive. So I guess what we could do then is say if it is the true Ultra Revive, we just straight up do this function, because that's all we need for that. So we'll say, what is self in this case? I think self is the player? Yeah, self would be the player there. This is why I should always comment these, but I always forget to. So we put player, Fred, give perk. I think we use Fred for these, don't we? No, we don't actually. Yeah, I think we would use Fred for this one though. Perk model, that can just be the trigger. That doesn't really matter because that just determines the location we want to play the sound. And perk index is 0 because that is Ultra Revive's index. Now though, if this isn't the true Ultra Revive, we're not going to want to execute this function because we don't want to give them Ultra Revive. Instead, we just want to deduct the points from the player as a little troll. So we'll say player.score and decrement their score by the perk cost of Ultra Revive. And then we'll just give them a little notification saying that they've been trolled. And this is a fake Ultra Revive, which we will use one of these for. So player notify, player notification, we're going to have it red text. Maybe have it appear for 3 seconds. And say, you've been trolled. That's a fake Ultra Revive machine. LOL. That's going to really piss them off. And I like that. We also need a wait 0.05 down here, just so it doesn't keep going, just in case. And maybe we want like a little sound, like a sound or something. I'm not sure if I have any sounds like that at the moment. Let's have a look. Maybe in custom. Not in there. What's this? Let's have a look. Jesus Christ, that was loud. I think I've gone deaf. Crash. Door bang, door open, explosion. Negative, what's this? Oh yeah, that one would work. That's the one we use for the valve, the incorrect valve in Twisted Mansion. That I think is in Mario aliases. Let's just type in negative here. No, maybe it's in user aliases then. Yeah, here we are. So you've got a 2D and a 3D one. This can just be a... Yeah, this could just be a 2D sound that we played to just the player. So... let's go back to the perp manager. And we'll say... Play sound to player. And I always forget the order of this. I think it's the sound first and then the player we want to play it to, but I always forget. So I'm just gonna do a quick search to make sure. Let's have a look on the script and API. Play sound to player. Yeah, so it is the sound name and then the player. So we have done it right, but we just want to add player here as well. Okay, so I'm going to need to go get some more water, and I think I'm going to make a cup of tea actually. So I shall be back in a second. Well, probably more like 5 minutes. But yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm finally back. My apologies, I was a lot longer than I thought I was going to be. Oh, arrays are amazing. You really need arrays if you're doing programming. But yeah, arrays are beautiful. I love them. So that should be Ultra Revive completely done now. I'm not going to test it in game yet because we've only got about 40 minutes left until I've got to go do some stuff. Ultra Revive completely yet because we've only got about 40 minutes left until I've got to go do some stuff. So instead, what we're going to work on now. Oh, I just realized actually my music stopped and I forgot to put it back on. So let me do that. Where are we? There we are. Okay. Music. So yes, what we're going to do now is sort out these perks. So we need to make it so they can collect souls. We need to make it so they can collect souls, and so they get put as the right perk machine they need to do to be whatever. So let's do some shit like that. Do we have the growing soul box script in our map right now? Let us have a look. Doovie doovie doovie. We do. Growing soul box. Wonderful. Why did my Twitch stream reset? I don't understand why it does that sometimes. Okay, so there's going to be a few things we need to change here. But some of it is going to stay the same. Do we actually call growing soul box from here at all yet? Hang on, I didn't want that, I wanted this. Growing, yeah, we call it from there. Okay, I don't think we want that though. Yeah, we probably want that right at the bottom, after we've confirmed how many players we have and all that. So we shall put it literally just here. Okay. So that we can get rid of. And this basically tells us how many souls, because the amount of souls will be higher if there's more players in the game. So this we can leave as it is. That we can get rid of. I did not mean to press what I just pressed. This is what I meant to press. Increment souls each round. That we won't need necessarily. Yeah, because as this is time based, there's always going to be the same kind of amount of zombies, so we don't really need that. We could just have like a set limit for each soul box. So this whole thing we can get rid of here. will instead do something. What is the variable we're using for how many souls we have left? I am trying to find it, but it is not clear to me what it is right now. Statue souls to complete. I think it's, yeah, it's literally just random thingies. Okay, in that case, let's just create a new variable then up here, where we'll say self dot souls remaining. Actually, no, I think we're going to make it into an array of the perk locations, maybe. I think. Yeah, let's do that. So in perk manager, we'll create a new array here for perk locations. Level.perk locations. Ooh, do we already have one called that? What is it going on here? Oh no, it's just oh, we do. But it's a local variable instead. Okay. We should probably call it something different then. Perk locations. You know what, I think we want to keep that as that, but we'll get rid of these ones. We'll call them temp perk locations. Perk locations. Is that all of them? I think so. Yeah. Perfect. So perk locations, there are gonna be 13? How many perks do we have? 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 13 perks. We're getting rid of Ultra Revive though, because that's its own thing. But we're adding in Fighter's Fizz, which is going to be a troll perk. So there's still going to be 13 perk locations. So, by default, you know what I think I'll do? I think we need a comment. We need a comment to say what number relates to each of these things. So 0 to 12 equals the perk, respective perk. If I can spell. 13 can be locked, and 14 could be none, I guess. So by default all of them are going to be locked, so they're all going to be 13. And we're going to need 13 indexes as well actually. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that means all of the perk machines by default are going to have this model here, because this is the locked model. Of course that's not the case at the moment, because we're not actually doing anything with this array yet. So we need to actually do shit with it. But first we'll create one more array for the amount of souls remaining until said perk machine is unlocked. So actually I think we are not about doing this properly. I think actually we'll get rid of the locked one, so 13 is going to be none, because we can use this, which is souls remaining, to instead tell us whether the perk location is locked or not. Because if souls remaining is greater than 0, that means the perk is 100% locked. So by default, we'll just put all these to 99, because this is going to be changing instantly anyway, as soon as the souls, the grown soulbox script is executed. So set them all to 99, and then in here, we'll say we need to so I think now would be a good time to actually create the objects that the soul's going to go into, because we could make it so the soul goes into, say, this, like the perk model, but if we do that, there could easily be stuff that gets in the way, because basically the soul needs a direct line of sight from the enemy we killed to the location it's got to go to in order to actually register. So that's why I personally like to use, if I can get this up here, I like to just use a nice script origin for this kind of stuff, where it's kind of sticking out a bit instead of merging into the actual model. So this is where the souls will actually go to. So this is perk 2, right? Perk 3 actually. So we can call this soul perk 3, because that's the same format. We've got model perk 3, trigger perk 3, and soul perk 3. Now, what is the gap between these? Is it like 32 or something? No, it'd be 64 then. So then this would be soul perk 2, and we just have to copy this to each of these. Soul perk 4 and 5. No, not 4 equals 5, that is incorrect. Soul perk 6, 7, 8, 9, the 10, the 11, and of course we cannot forget about the 12. That would be bad. And we've also got perk location 1 and 2, 0 and 1 rather, already upstairs here, because I did not have this soul collection to unlock perks idea until we had already put them up here. So we're just gonna have to put this somewhere, basically. So we will go about there, should be fine for that one. And then for this one, we will go right here. And what is this one? This one's 0, which means the other one should be 1. Am I correct? I am. So let's copy this then, and we're going to need to make a for loop, which will loop through all of the soul locations and get the objects for them. So there's 13 of them, going from 0 to 12, so we're going to say I is less than 13, I++, and we're going to get the soul pos, get int, which is soul perk plus I ranging from 0 to 12 again. So then target name, and then we're going to want to put this execute a function on top of this. That function being I see. That's how I do it. Okay, so maybe we actually don't want to do that then. Because what we actually do is watch each zombie instead, wait for them to die, and then check which soul box is closest, if there even is one in range. So I think I'll do that actually instead. So we can get rid of this. This is all stuff from Twisted Mansion. In fact though, we do still need to do that. What we can just do instead is say, create a blank array for the soul positions. Soul pos. Soul blah blah blah. We'll say perk soul poses, or whatever. So perk soul pos, that's fine. Blank array, and we're gonna add this to the array. So array insert. We're inserting into the array this one. We're inserting into this array, and what we're inserting into the array is our soul pos object at the index of I, because that's going to basically put them all in order. What would you do, Elwood? You must answer me. I assume you responded to something I said, like... Oh, actually you responded to that like 30 seconds ago. I don't even remember what it was I said. So now we've got the array of all of the soul positions. So that is good. What we can do then, we can get rid of this shit and instead do just this for loop. And we're gonna loop through not perk soul orbs, because that's from Twisted Mansion. We're gonna loop through perk soul pos. Perk soul pos. So if distance between the start point, which is the point where the zombie died, to the perk soul position, if that is less than closest, which is the closest distance so far, and bullet trace past, basically meaning that there's a direct line of sight from the start point to the perk soul position, and we do plus 50 on the z-axis, which is the height axis, because in case the start point is in the floor where the zombie died. That I don't remember what those are, but who cares. And then we're making sure that this soul box that we're looking at hasn't already been filled up, and that it does still have souls remaining. I think we still called this perk souls remaining, didn't we? No, we just called it souls remaining actually. So, you know, actually let's just change this to perk souls remaining instead of changing that. Oh really, would you now? Would you now? Okay, so if this succeeds, then we're setting the closest point to the distance of the enemy death point to the perk soul position, and then we are setting the object to the current perk soul position. Index, do I actually need that? I guess I'll keep it. Doesn't really matter. And this perk I can get rid of because the only soul collection we're doing on this map is with perks, I'm pretty sure at least. I can always change it if I need to later. This shit is all from Twisted Mansion still, so that can go. That can fuck right off. And then we'll just copy this one. And some of these parameters we might not need. What we've got start point, layer, the color. So the color of the soul orb that goes in, I mean that's just always going to be the same color probably. But the question is, what color should we use? Let's have a look. Let us have a look, shall we? FX browser. I don't remember where I saved them. It might have been in custom. Yeah, here we are. We got loads of different colors that we've created. Blue. I mean, what color would look the best for cells on this particular map? I mean, there's a lot of colors in this map. So whatever color we choose, it's probably going to blend with something in the map. We could just go with white. I think we might actually. I think we might just go with white. Yeah, let's go. I don't know. I don't know. We could go with red. Or we could go with purple. Or we could go with orange, or definitely not orange. Maybe we'll go with cyan for now. So, oh no, that's gonna blend with the water. God damn it. No, let's go with frickin' green. Why not? Soul collect green. So we need to actually define that in the zone. So let's just copy this one and change it to green. Put it down here. Soul collect green.efx. And then we have to put it in the thingy as well. Yes, that is very specific, the thingy. Wait, no, it should already be in there actually. Yes, right here. We just need to change one of these to green. So the color then is not a parameter we need because it's always going to be the same color. So we can just straight up take that out. Take that one and that one out. Do we use sensor anywhere else? No, it's literally just here. What do we use index for? Oh, okay, we definitely do need indexing because that's helping us with decrementing the right amount of souls remaining for the particular location. That is some good tea. 50, what the hell is this? Oh, the Z offset, that's fine. Is perk, all of this can go because this is always going to be a perk. So all three of these can go. So now let's just go through this and get rid of anything we don't need. Soul collect color, that needs to just be green. And we can get rid of this part. Is perk. So that. Yes, exactly. All we need to do is just take this out and replace all this with this. This I'm actually going to enable, and you can see it's a temporary thing that I created. What this does is it means every perk only needs one soul until it opens, so it's just a developer thing. And then this will call an event to say that that particular perk location has been unlocked. That is good, I believe. And then this... What is the purpose of this? This is in... Oh, this is just if we've reached the FX limit. So this would literally just be the same, basically. So we can just go ahead and replace all of that with this. Voila! Okay. That is good. Very good, in fact. So now what we've done is every single one of these purple perk soul locations should be able to take in souls. So that is nice to see, of course. So what we need to work on next is actually randomizing what's going to be at each location. So where to start with that then? I guess the first thing we should do is do something. Yes, I think we should do something. Well, I think a good start would be changing this a bit, because at the moment this is going straight to the model of the perk that it's meant to be, which we don't want. It needs to start at the non-existent perk first. So what we will do is maybe just do a level. No. What is it? We got in here. Perk whatever unlocked. So that is the location. So actually I'm going to be more specific with that and say perk location whatever unlocked. Perk location. But it's not referring to the perk index, it's referring to the perk location. Right then. Now this is going to have to change as well, because the location index is going to be different for each one. Although we do have this reset perks thing here, so that's good. Okay. I suppose then what we can do is we don't necessarily need a wait till here. Or maybe we do, actually. I can't decide, man, oh my god. Poop. Poop poop poop. Exactly. Exactly. It's hard to concentrate because this music is so fucking good. Like, holy shit. What the actual fuck is happening? I mean, I think a good start will be setting the trigger hint string, because we're going to want to set the trigger hint string to site to start with to just say that this perk requires souls. This perk location requires souls first. First, exactly. First. This perk location requires souls first. And then I guess we can wait until the location has been unlocked. Sure. Sorry, my voice is going a little bit. So that's fine. We can actually say level wait till perk location index unlocked. So then this code is going to continue when the location for this has been unlocked, like this reached a soul limit or whatever. Before that though, we are going to want to say in fact actually we need to change that a second, because when we execute this function, the location for this that this is attached to might already be unlocked. So we need to check that first. We need to put an if statement here and say if level dot souls perk souls remaining refers to the location, not to the perk index. So we're going to put location index in here. If that is greater than 0, that means this perk location hasn't been unlocked yet. So inside the if part, we're going to put this, as well as set the model to this one right here. Speaking of that, actually, we need to actually put this in the zone, otherwise it won't work. Where should we put it? We should put it with the other X models. So we'll say X model that, as well as X model MCM perk box none, which is this troll Goomba one. So now then, if wrong script, we need the perk manager one. If there's still souls remaining for this particular location, we are going to set the model to this, not to V, to this, which means we loop through we don't loop, we just execute this first, check if there's still souls remaining for this particular location. If there is, we want to set a hint string to that, set the model to be this, and then wait until the perk location is unlocked. Now, however, if the perk location is already unlocked, then we need to check whether this location has a perk or whether it's just going to be the troll one here. So I'm once again going to actually change this because I think we're going to want a boolean instead to say whether it's going to have a perk out or not. So we'll say level dot perk location contains perk equals array, and this is just going to be an array of false to start with, and there needs to be 13 of these, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Get rid of this because this is literally just going to reference what perk we put in here now. So if this was say 1, it would be whatever perk is index 1, which is double tap. And then this tells us whether there's a perk at the location or not. We need another, not an array, but an integer to say how many perk locations contain a perk. Because there's going to be a button around the map where players can increase the amount of perks that could appear at locations. So, perk locations that contain a perk we'll just say equals, I think I'm gonna do 6 on default, maybe 6 out of 13 locations, and we have to unlock the extra 7. I think that works, but I could change that whenever anyway. And we can basically say here, if level dot perk location contains perk location index equals false, then all we're going to do is set the model to this MCM perk box non, which is this Troll Goomba one. So we're going to say model, set model to that, and then set the trigger to a hint string of there is no perk at this location yet. And then loads of dots. There is no perk at this location yet. And then that's it for this function. If that happens, we don't do anything else here. Because this gets out, this whole function will get executed again when the perks get shuffled. So then in the else, if this perk location does contain a perk, and this is true, then we're basically just going to do everything we've got here. So we're going to set the model to whatever the perk index is here. And then we're going to do all of this where we're setting the hint string to the right thing. We can actually take out that because perk index will never equal 0 here because Ultra Revive is now its own thing. So that we can just put there like so. And then this whole while loop we can put inside of here. Like that. Again, perk index will never equal 0 because Ultra Revive is now its own thing. So that can just I might have to change some of that around though still, because yeah, we'll play around with that. But I think at the moment that is where I'm gonna have to end the stream because I have somewhere to be, unfortunately. But we managed to do a fair bit today. We managed to do the Troll Ultra Revives, and we've pretty much finished the perks now. There's just a couple more bits that I'm gonna do off stream, and then tomorrow most likely we're gonna work on the new slot machine that we're gonna put up in the sky, which will be a fun one. So yes, thank you to everyone who joined today, and I shall see you in the next stream. Goodbye.